this is when NHL players use 100% of their brains. And first, Henry Lundqvist saved the goal with all of his head.
That's knocked down with the helmet by Lundqvist.
I liked his accuracy.
But Ryan Kesler was even smarter, because he hit the puck with his cheeks.
Shot deflected in front. That's blocked by Kesler. He's going to try and freeze him by sitting on the puck, and it might work.
Yeah, NHL players will think of anything. I mean, Quinn Hughes stopped the goal by shoving his own teammate.
Oshie stripped to the puck by Miller. Stumbled a little bit, so that gave Miller time to come back.
But Sidney Crosby took his IQ to the next level. See, when Patrick Hornqvist lost his stick, Crosby did the unthinkable.
Crosby with a nice little stick flip to get it back to Hornqvist.
But Daniel Sedin outsmarted everyone, because his goal went over the defense's heads.
Into the Anaheim zone. Scores!
Luongo was just mentioning that it went, watch how it goes over the helmet of Burrows.
But this next player was smarter than a whole team, because Philip Forsberg stalled a power play in the most creative way possible.
A lot of the players around the league now. Look at this play by Forsberg. He flips it up in the air, catches it, brings it out the other side. Now he'll take a U-turn and take it all the way back. Listen to the crowd.
My man created new possibilities on the ice, and so did Jamie Benn, because he didn't let the net get in the way of his job.
Anderson on the bench. Jamie Benn lifts the net and tries to put his stick underneath the net to poke away.
He was the first to think of that. But this next smart play was a damn highlight, because nobody saw Clark MacArthur's creativity coming.
He's got trouble now as in comes MacArthur. Clark MacArthur between the legs and turns, scores! Unbelievable pass here from Clark MacArthur.
He put on a show, but Philip Forsberg took the crowd to the circus. I mean, this dude was juggling.
Cycles up the board. Look at this juggling act by Forsberg. Can you believe what he just did?
Look at him there, and then that was the high stick.
He was playing mind games with the defense. But you gotta see how Ekman Larsson solved this trap, because he was playing a different sport.
And look, it looked like a lacrosse move there.
Yeah, real nice play there by Oliver. Scoops that puck up on his blade and launches it.
Now, he wasn't the only one going behind his back. See, Evgeny Malkin had eyes in the back of his head.
Malkin drops it off. Russ with a shot. He scores!
And Malkin somehow with eyes on the back of his head recognizes that Brian Rust is trailer.
That pass was savvy. But Connor Bedard didn't need anybody to show off his hockey mind, because he put one in from behind the net.
Kurashev plays the rebound for Bedard down low. Bedard! Lacrosse style scores!
You have to be sharp to pull off the Michigan goal. But Adam Henrique outsmarted the entire rink.
It's away with it. Penalty will expire as he lobs it into the Devils' zone, goes and gets it, and scores on the backhand. What an individual effort by Adam Henrique. What a play.
But Morgan Frost's goal should have been illegal, because he scored from an impossible angle.
That set it off. Of course, it bounces in from behind the net. Frost plays it off for Saros and in. Oh my goodness, off the skate.
He used a cheat code on that one. But this next goalie went to his last resort. I mean, Red O'Bara could only think of doing the unreal.
To Johnson. Oh, what a stop by Barra. He went around the world with the pads. You won't see that every day.
Now, Paul Ranger made a new invention with his skate. Look, he went into the shootout with an illusion.
Ranger and in run.
Coach couldn't even be mad at that one. But Henrik Sedin was too smart for the defense to handle, because he connected with his twin brother like it was telepathy.
Henrik ahead for Daniel, in on goal. Deke scores!
Sees Henrik's got it, now Daniel's gone. So he stays on side, perfect.
That's chemistry you can't teach. But you have to think fast for Jonas Donskoi's mastering. See, he flipped one over the goalie's dome.
Here he is again!
Donskoi went over the top like he was playing checkers. But this next goalie was playing chess. See, when Andrei Vasilevsky lost sight of the puck, he used his mind to see.
Kopitar, he'll walk it in, shoot, and it's knocked down right back to him. A save by Vasilevsky, and he keeps it out of the net. Reaching behind him, he had it in his glove.
He wasn't giving up anything. Neither were the Senators, because they played keep away and killed off the Red Wings' power play.
Tom Pyatt's gonna step around green, and good hard work is drawn.
The Sens bench might get credit for that.
Here's Oduya going across. Carlson looks, shoots.
You want to do this. You want to eat as much time off of your power play or your penalty as you can so that you get more on the power play. What do you expect them to do? You've got to chase one guy. You don't want to get caught outnumbered, so
And they still can't touch the puck. Wow, this is a great job by Ottawa. Finally, it is going to be touched here with 7 seconds to go on the initial penalty.
But TJ Oshie had an idea that was worth 1 in a million. Pay attention to how he kicked off the defense.
Oshie with a clean look to the backhand. He scores! TJ Oshie.
And then watch Oshie with his leg. He creates separation, knocks the stick right out of Justin Williams' hands right there.
The defender never thought he'd be in that position. Just like everyone who steps up to Sidney Crosby. Look, his teammate made a hand pass, and a split second after the defender touched the puck, it was already in the back of the net.
Let's take a look as this puck comes down. It's gloved. He can't touch it. Crosby can't touch it. It'd be a hand pass. So he waits for Shattenkirk to touch the puck.
That's just unfair. But Peter Schaefer hacked reality.
Being put on as Schaefer moves in shorthanded, chips it around, Turco and scores! What a goal by Peter Schaefer, shorthanded.
Ridiculous! But look, we have to talk about the smartest hockey player of all time. See, Pavel Datsyuk was so advanced, they called him the Magic Man. I mean, while defenders were reacting, Datsyuk was already planning 3 moves ahead.
A nice drag ahead by Datsyuk. Controls to the outside, shoveling. He scores! With 3:01 to go in the...
He was one of the best puck handlers of all time. He dominated both ends of the ice, because every single night, he was making your favorite player look foolish.
I wouldn't call that cute. That was wacky.
A steal, Datsyuk tucks it in!
This man can steal your soul with a pull check, and then casually no-look pass for an assist.
Off the top, nearly capitalized with his mates. Here's Datsyuk, backdoor, rebound, Dandino, scores! Matthew Dandino!
Now most players use strength, some use speed, but pure hockey IQ got the first female coach in the NHL. See, Jessica Campbell was destined for greatness. I mean, she was born the same day Manon Rhéaume became the first woman to play in an NHL game.
The feature piece on Manon Rhéaume, she will start the second period for Gene Ubriaco and the Atlanta Knights, making her first appearance of the regular season.
Now, Campbell played professionally in Europe, but continuing a career on the ice seemed impossible. She tried to market herself as a coach, but teams told her straight to her face that they would never hire a woman. So, continuing to do what she loved, she started a power skating program to improve player skills. And her new drills attracted 20 NHL players around the league. Next thing you know, she was hired as an assistant coach for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. As the first female assistant coach ever in the AHL, she led the third-ranked offense to back-to-back finals appearances. So while the Seattle Kraken searched for a new coaching staff, Campbell was back doing skating lessons in the offseason, but she couldn't believe what was next for her career.
Dan and I had a very interesting first interaction. He actually contacted me through my power skating website, which would be the same way a family would find me to book a session, and it's kind of funny because it came from his personal email, and we laugh about it today. I really didn't believe it was real.
Yeah, her life changed overnight. Now, the Krakens needed her expertise on power plays. So on October 8th, 2024, she made history.
Monumental to see a woman behind the bench in the NHL. He was just trying to hire the best coach, and that was Jessica.
She beat all the odds and made her own lane. And with how many players love her, she's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I thought it was a really good hire. I mean, she was in Coachella for 2 years. Team went to the finals twice.
She's not just hired just because she's a female coach. She's hired because she has earned that and deserves to be here.
Yeah, you better get used to it, because Campbell is paving the way for more to be just like her.
I never had that whatsoever to look up to and to imagine, and so it also can create meaningful change for young girls, but also says something to young boys too.
But imagine a time when one of the best parts of hockey didn't even exist. See, the NHL used to have ties that left both fan bases unsatisfied. So in 2005, the league decided to spice things up. See, if you couldn't win in overtime, it was time for a good old-fashioned shootout.
And the NHL's first ever shootout is about to begin. The first participant in the first ever shootout scores.
But this wasn't just about flashy moves. Shootouts became a mental chess match. So the guys who could analyze a goalie's every twitch could hit them with something nasty. And the smartest players adapted instantly. But the entire hockey world changed after the most genius trade in NHL history. Look, in 1988, Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers just came off their 4th Stanley Cup championship. Gretzky wasn't just the best hockey player alive, he was already being called the GOAT. But while he was popping champagne in the locker room, reality sprayed him right in the face.
And I remember sitting there, and my dad, and I'm having a cold beer, and my dad says, you know, they're trying to trade you. And I go, who's they and who's trading who? And I go, oh, Dad, you just don't believe anything you hear. And he goes, no, I didn't want to tell you this. And
dude literally did his job the best he could and was still about to get dumped. But there were some problems the Oilers needed to cover. See, Gretzky had just 1 year left on his contract, and they couldn't risk losing him for nothing. But an even bigger problem was that the Oilers owner was broke. Like selling the best player in history to pay bills broke. This dude went full rogue and started calling up other owners directly. But Gretzky did have his own options.
You don't need to go there. Why don't you do something different and go to LA? So everybody thought sort of it was my wife that steered the train, or the bus, but it was really my dad who said, there's only one Gordie Howe, you need to go do something different.
Yeah, bro decided to play hockey in a place that barely even heard of the sport. But as the trade shocked the entire nation, Gretzky couldn't put his emotions behind him.
I'm disappointed about having to leave Edmonton. I truly admire all the fans and respect everyone over the years.
The game of hockey goes deep, but it was all for the better.
I think will not only be good for Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings, but I think a move that'll be beneficial to the game of hockey.
And Gretzky couldn't have been more correct, because he didn't just bring his talents to LA. He brought hockey to America's biggest entertainment market. Suddenly, celebrities were sitting rinkside. Kids in California were trading surfboards for hockey sticks, and in a short time, it was a masterclass in growing the game. And speaking of expansion teams, the Las Vegas Knights did the impossible with brain power. See, when the NHL announced a team in Las Vegas in 2017, people thought it was a joke. A bunch of cast-offs playing in a city where the ice would melt faster than their playoff chances. But the owner, Bill Foley, figured that the sky was the limit. The mission was just too ambitious, but he had a plan. While other teams handed over expendables in the expansion draft, Vegas saw an opportunity. GM George McPhee assembled a revenge squad of misfits with IQ, chemistry, and a point to prove. But the rest of the league thought he drafted a bunch of losers.
Foley said, playoffs in 3 years, Stanley Cup in 6. Okay, I've heard other outlandish predictions in my time that never came true. Maybe this is just another one.
It looked like a dark road ahead for the Knights, but then came the darkest day in Las Vegas history.
There's reports that there could be multiple shooters. And you also had 20,000+ people that are there, and they're spilling out. And where are they going?
Oh my gosh, look at this. There's got to be at least 40 Henderson police SUVs here.
Sounds like it's coming from Mandalay Bay. I see the shot coming from Mandalay Bay. I need immediate medical.
This way. Go. That way.
The actual crime scene, it's over 3 square miles.
The tragedy was the largest mass shooting in American history. Las Vegas wasn't just about fun and games anymore, and the new players in the city wanted to take action.
I think we should do something, and everybody was willing to do it. We wanted to be there for Derek and the city and everybody.
The Knights understood something deeper. They used their brains and hearts to lead a city through pain. And that night, hockey wasn't just a game, it was healing.
I met my wife here, my kids were born here, and I know how special this city is. To all the brave first responders that have worked tirelessly and courageously throughout this whole tragedy, we thank you. To the families and friends of the victims, know that we'll do everything we can to help you and our city heal.
That speech came in the Knights' home opener, and what came after was nothing short of a spectacle. Guys like Marc-Andre Fleury played like they could read minds, and Jonathan Marchessault skated like he unlocked a cheat code.
Shoots and slips one through the goalie's legs.
They weren't just outworking teams, they were outsmarting them. But as the team was going off, their star goalie, who was supposed to be the face of the Knights, went down, and the injuries kept coming. See, the Knights were down to a 4th-string goalie, as if they had already not taken the league's worst players already. But with all these guys buying into one goal, they put up the most points and goals ever, and in just 1 year, they were Stanley Cup champions. But this next player advanced hockey's technology for one of the most iconic looks in sports. See, Jacques Plante revolutionized the goalie position and bled through the pain just to wear a mask. Now, Jacques Plante didn't just stand in the net, he changed the game.
You can't overlook what an innovator he was, because he changed the whole fabric, the whole face of goaltending.
He was an inventor on the ice, but he had ideas bigger for hockey. See, you couldn't step onto the ice in the 50s without leaving with some facial scars, so he constructed a new technology. But this game-changing face mask was getting hate from his own coach.
But he said, no goalie of mine is ever going to wear a mask in a regular game.
Coach didn't see the vision, but Plant was destined to put that thing back on. I mean, he took a puck to the face mid-game and wasn't playing another minute without protection.
So Plant goes into the dressing room bleeding profusely. If I go back, I'm going to go back with the mask, or I ain't going to go back. And Plant goes out on the ice, and we are stunned to the core.
Plant got his wish, but now it was time to prove himself. And he stepped back on the ice and took the victory. Then he became one of the greatest players to ever play, on his way to win 6 championships with that mask on him. Yeah, his brain changed hockey forever.